Here we go.
YouTube. I don't feel like anyone would be interested out of the audience in buying nudes. Unfortunately.
Brandon, you ain't seen this bulge.
And Brandon, you forget your niche audience. About 40% of it is in this call right now.
That's super fair.
Ain't none of you seen this bulge. Except maybe Wesley.
Wait, JD, we did a underwear stand-up comedy show together. I have indeed seen the bulge.
Oh shit, you're right. You have seen this bulge.
Brandon, I'm gonna help you out here. This stream is not meant for children.
Mm-hmm.
If you are under the age of 21, run.
Rob, note the fuck out.
Alright, we're about to get started regardless. Or one of the coolest words in the English language. Oh, go ahead.
That would have been a Group 1 level intro right there.
Shelby actually asked me today why I named, and I think this is a good place to start this group on. Shelby asked me why I named this campaign Sky of Wolves, and I explained that it was a carryover from the original Group 1 mentality, where you guys were really like a wolf pack, and that you were the smartest players of playing D&D, not characters, whereas you understood never ever split the party, and if we're going to do something dumb, our chances of succeeding infinitely increase if we all do it together, which is what inspired the name, Sky of Wolves, because of like the wolf pack nature of we stick together, even though this is a horrifically awful idea.
That's the reason JD's first character was knocked off of a tower.
But it was knocked off a tower together. I still
can't.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I can't believe it, like way back, first group. I can't believe we got away with half the stuff that we did back then, just like scot-free, no repercussions.
No repercussions. People died, Wesley. Characters died.
Nothing of value was lost.
Lomagrax has PTSD.
He sucks at dying. He's done it twice.
Fair.
My character was kidnapped by vampire lords and tortured.
Again, I repeat, no.
Dirge was just fine.
Dirge died and turned into a vampire.
There were no drawbacks at
Dirge
all.
wanted to die for years.
But, anyways, let's get started tonight. Welcome to the Ilderon Tales. This is Group A, Sky of Wolves, Episode 9, and I am actually now officially excited about it. You guys have turned my mood around. We are playing Dungeons & Dragons, and it is a role-playing game. Everything you are going to see tonight is going to be live storytelling. Nothing is scripted, and I think this is one of those nights that's going to really show that. If you are under the age of 14 and you're watching this video, it's already been expressed to you. Please consult your parents because the content's not appropriate for you. We are playing in a homebrewed world. That world is Ilderon, and I'm super excited that I have some new map making software to show off on stream. JD, you might be really interested in this new software I found too. It's really, really awesome. So, if you want to learn more about the world, go to www.ilderontales.com or just Google search it and you can find out more.
Or your PayPal.
Or my PayPal. Wait, no, I don't use PayPal. I got screwed over pretty hardcore by them a while ago. But that's a story for another time. Before we get started tonight, does anybody have a question relating to the world or the story? And I have extended this in other groups because, like, I've been asking so many questions. I think, people's curiosity has been sated. Does anybody have a question about the world, the story, or D&D in general?
Yeah, are we allowed to talk about Hong Kong here?
Actually, I'd prefer... No, I'm kidding. I believe views are are part of us, as a person, I am completely okay with like comments about Hong Kong in favor or against. And if you express either opinion, I'm happy to discuss it more in depth.
Not Blizzard, got it.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I uninstalled Hearthstone, and even though they rescinded like half of the thing, I just have not felt any urge to play. But I will actually open the floor for actual questions. I feel like that was a joke.
I have a joke question too, but I'm gonna save it for later.
I welcome the silly. Steve, were you going to say something?
Did Group D actually run into us at some point?
Yes, they did. Last session,
Did I kill any of them?
No. Ogun ended up talking to them for like 4 minutes. They informed Ogun that they killed a vampire lord, particularly one of the Twilight Fang. I don't know if Ogun knew who that was, but then he's like, "Oh, you killed a vampire lord? We killed a bunch of werewolves. Nice to meet you." And I think that was the entirety of the conversation.
Yeah, he was there when I got arrested.
Yeah.
Oh, we were all there when I got arrested.
So
Yeah.
why was that post about elves posted into Group A?
Why was a post about elves posted into Group A?
Or rather, which group was it that was involved with the killing of elves and the
Oh, that was me. Okay, so I can answer that. Yeah, so anybody who's on the Discord, there was a long post I made about elves at the Earthfire inside of Ilderon. And what that was you might not be privy to some of the information that gets exchanged between the players. We handled the epilogue of Group A from the last saga of the campaign off screen. So their climax was fighting Terracry on the mountainside and killing him, and then they rushed into the temple where the Earthfire was to save it. And then that was their epilogue there at the temple, and there was a document. And so what happened there was Terracry's only job on the mountainside was to delay the party because the seven were busy working inside of the temple, stealing the Earthfire. He held the party back long enough just for them to get away. I think his threshold was like he needed to hold you guys back for 4 rounds and spend the 5th round escaping. He held you back for 5 rounds and then tried to run on the 6th round, and you guys chased him and killed him on the 7th.
So you're saying this was a previous group before this?
No,
This was our group.
It was this group, but the way these stories are told, they're told in sagas. So there was the first saga, which was 20 episodes, the second saga, which was about 16, and this one I was planning to be about 10, but it's looking like we're going to be more like 12, and then that's going to be the end of this book of the campaign.
I see. So you're speaking of Saga 2 at the end of it.
Yes. And that was right before Sindri joined. Well, actually, it's a few episodes before Sindri joined. But, yeah.
Right.
All right. So, we are going to jump inside of into the recap. And I should get out my note cards for Group A. Because that would be wise. My favorite thing about Rob's recaps now is that they say the starting date of each session, because that helps my mind like gravitate of just like where were they. Okay, so the session starts on the 28th of it starts on the 28th of Hunter, and oh my goodness gracious, has a bunch of stuff happen on the 28th. It is the evening of the 28th, and the party is in the city, is in a city known as Sky's Reach. They are in the arcane university known as the Maphis University, and they are talking with the Empress of the Darkened Vale. After a back and forth, they discuss the politics of the nation before they finally and ultimately ask her if they can convince Heimsdale to agree to some sort of ceasefire if the Darkened Vale and Heimsdale can come together to protect the Galkan Earthfire. I believe Elizabeth, the Undying Empress, is hesitant at that suggestion, but ultimately agrees. Then the party is alone, and they continue going over the options in front of them. They discuss the politics of Heimsdale, realizing that perhaps if they could get some sort of political influence inside the country, or religious influence, they could use their religious influence to get political influence to convince them to the ceasefire. The party continues discussing options of finding allies to aid them in the fight against Elena and the Seventh. Ultimately, they decide on the Eye of the Mountain, who is an Ardorian figure appointed by the four Chantries to protect the Ardor Sarai Earthfire. The Eye of the Mountain had been missing for 2 months because a group attacked him, and then after they attacked him, Elena attacked him too, and nobody knows what happened to him. What was revealed was that he was imprisoned. Elena cast a powerful spell on him that imprisoned him inside of a piece of jade, in which the party was holding in their person for some time. Because Elena didn't want to kill him, she gave the piece of jade back to the party after she had taken the Earthfire. They had forgot they had it for some time and gave it to a passing scribe who claimed they knew someone who wielded powerful enough magic to free the Eye of the Mountain. And the shard of jade was taken to the capital so the Eye of the Mountain could be freed. There he had been let go, or he had been freed from the Jade prison, but the party didn't really know what had happened to him. Knowing he was a powerful druid, they went to enlist his aid, and getting into Ardor, they found the political state of the country is teeter-tottering on the brink of a civil war. And this civil war has been rising and falling and building and bubbling and boiling and cooling. And nobody really knows when the actual war is going to break out. And so as it stands right now, the country is kind of in a terse standstill, almost kind of like a Mexican standoff. And the Eye of the Mountain's presence, as far as he is almost a political captive. He is a refugee, and he is a refugee seeking sanctuary inside of one of the great temples inside the city. As long as he is there, the magnate and the royal army cannot come and arrest him. As long as he is there, the North is not going to attack because he's not a political prisoner or arrested or anything. And also, he is the leader of their faction, and they would not attack without his explicit blessing. And so, after explaining the situation to the party then asks if they could use one of his generals who had been in prison, who is a powerful but less powerful druid. And I'm trying to remember his name. Hopefully it's somewhere here in the recap. I can just press Control F and see if Keeper comes up. It does not. Okay, I'll look it up later.
Elson.
Oh yeah, yep, Keeper Elson. That's it. Let me make a note card for him, because I have to roll him up and put him on roll 20. For now, we'll just use an Archdruid from Volo's Guide to Monsters to handle him. Yes, and so they went and asked if they could use Keeper Elson, and from there they carried the Eye of the Mountain's message to the Magnate and asked her permission if she could, if they could release the prisoner from the dungeons to aid in their search. From there, the party was leaving the Magnate's Keep, and the late evening, early morning of the 28th going into the 29th, with their answer in tow that they were able to use Keeper Elson. All right. So, after a brief chat with some passing knights, we are going to pick up on... Let's do this. We are going to pick up on the late night of the 29th going into the morning of the... Or late night of the 28th going into the morning of the 29th. The party is in the Magnate's castle inside of the capital of Ardor. Are inside the city of Ardor, which is the capital of the nation Ardor Serai. Well, actually, we're going to fast forward. You've found your way to the stairs descending down into the Magnate's dungeon. The entire party is together. Walking down this stairwell, the way this dungeon is arranged, there are a total of 4 cells on either side. These cells are arches of stone that go from the floor up to the ceiling and then bend over back into the floor. And in these arches are a series of bars. And behind these bars, there are small cells that are about 8 feet by 8 feet. In the back of this room, there is a private cell with a large wooden door blocking it. The room looks to be used for like interrogation and other things, as there's like walk space inside of there. However, you are only down here for the first couple. So walking into the main lobby where these larger 4 cells are, you are going to see 2 guards down here, as this place can be manned with significantly less armed personnel because of its security. I am just rolling these guards their importance. And I guess I need to roll one other die of if increased security would be down here. Alright. Actually, there are going to be 3 guards down here. One is going to be at a table lit by candlelight. He is going to be writing something. There seem to be another 2 sitting near a bench. Are sitting on a bench. They are playing some sort of cards. Their spears are leaned against the stone wall near them. As you come down, they're each going to look over at you. The person nearest the table is gonna see Teak in practice and stand up, and he salutes. Alright, what do you guys want to do?
Back.
The man's gonna sit back down.
No reason to interrupt your card game, but we are here to get somebody out. And then Fractus is going to be like, by the way, what are you playing?
The man is gonna, or one of the guards on the bench is gonna look up and say, Myth Dragon's Ante. And
house rules, or with the ante up?
They're going to smile and say, well, the game is what you can get away with. And Practice is going to be aware of this card game. Have you ever played a game called, what is it, Egyptian Rat Screw?
If you're talking to Shelby, I have never played anything like that.
Okay, so there's this card game, and the purpose of the card game is to get out of all of the cards out of your hand. And it's kind of like BS. If you've ever played BS.
Yes. Okay, I have played.
You can lie, cheat, and place down as many cards as you want, as long as the other person doesn't call your bluff. This is like poker, like that, of just like lie your pants off. But then there's also a little bit of strategy of, if he's not lying, I have to eat this.
So the perfect game for practice is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. But as you stand up and, or as you say, you know, we're here to get somebody out of jail. So I didn't do this last session. I'm actually thinking about this. And they didn't give you anything that said you had this ability to, you know, get this general out of jail. But I'm actually going to retroactively, because I don't want to just make your lives needlessly hard for no reason. I'm going to retroactively say, or, you know, here's the better thing. DM slipped up. Listelia is going to be walking down the stairs. That is the steward of Ariana. And she's just going to be like calling and saying, I almost forgot the prisoner release forms. You actually need the... looking at the guards, she's going to be coming downstairs with a form that's been stamped with a wax seal on it. And she's going to say, oh, it's the form for the general that you're releasing.
Just in time. We're about to get spears bristled out of us.
Yeah. Handling, or looking at the form, the man nearest the table is going to read it over. Then he's going to take the key over to Elson's cell. He hits on it twice. The keys ringing against the cell before you see a man in the back start to stir. He's going to say, Magnate's releasing you, Elson, into the unrepentance care. The man is going to stand, or is going to look up as the guard unlocks the bars. He's then going to... The bars are going to open, and he's going to look at you for a long moment before finally saying, If the goddess needs my skills, the goddess calls. He hobbles to his feet and starts walking out. While you can tell this was definitely a man who once had the physique of a soldier, he definitely looks malnourished. Like he hasn't had the chance to properly stretch or move in weeks.
Brandon.
Yes.
Does he look like one of the people that was at the meeting?
No, this guy was the one that this was the one that Group D attacked in the night and brought out.
I wasn't sure if he was at the meeting when the Eye of the Mountain was taken down to begin with.
Oh, okay. Was he? That's a good question. So I only had barbarians and fighters there that weren't the Eye of the Mountain. No, he would not have been, because one of the reasons was he was marching with the army to the south, and Elena freaked out that the Eye of the Mountain elected not to march south, and he kept an honor guard with him and stayed near the fire. So he was definitely not there when you attacked the Eye of the Mountain.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. He has green eyes, and well, I would say at one point stark red hair, but it is definitely at this point grimy and dingy, almost getting to a grimy brown.
I'm gonna turn to Lacera and say, can we get a room where he can get a bath and some food?
Listelia, who is her job to, I guess, see to the attendants here, is going
if you feel uncomfortable with, does she feel uncomfortable? Do I see that she's uncomfortable with?
She's going to say, well, there isn't much space in the diplomats' quarters, and your arrival wasn't announced, but we could arrange funds from the quartermaster to pay for a stay at a local inn on the palace, or on the palace concourse.
That would be fine.
She is going to nod and say, I will have the funds arranged and given to you in the Grand Vestibule on your departure from the capital, or from the castle. She bows, and she's going to turn and hastily leave the room.
Fractus is going to turn to Teak and say, Teak, do you want to give him the conscripted speed?
Teak shakes her head. I mostly came up with it on the spot, so I'm afraid I don't recall it.
He's going to shake his head and say, no need. I know the role of the unrepentant.
That's awfully convenient.
Are you a follower of Umiya?
He is going to shake his head and say, so yes, his teachings always stood strong with me. However, when you serve the Eye of the Mountain, you learn all of the chantries and their ins and outs.
Well, if we're not going to give you the welcome to the club speech, we should probably let you know what plan from here is.
He's going to nod and say, as far as I know, the unrepentant investigate crimes, ones that involve all the chantries.
Oh, this is a little bit more. We'll
It's
wait.
wider in scope.
We'll wait until we're after you've bathed and had some food.
Not some food, a lot of food.
He is going to nod and say, haven't seen sunshine in about a month. Looking forward to that today.
You gotta wait for it to rise at this point.
He is going to start following the party. Who wants to roll me a D100?
I do.
Just go for it. The lower the roll, the more horrific he smells. The higher the roll, the less he's not smelly. He is by no means pleasant. Woof! Alright, he starts walking into the center of the party, and there is a... For those who aren't polite, you can definitely hold your nose. For those who are polite, it is hard not to hold your nose.
Sindri will kind of try to hurry to the front. Stay there. Near the front.
Soulmate will just start walking up the wall and towards the ceiling away from it.
Yeah, I guess he'll just like watch Soulmane. And wasn't there somebody walking on the walls when he was kidnapped? No, there was not. Okay, never mind. Alright, so where do you guys want to go? When you leave the when you head to the Earth Gate to leave the palace, by the way, there is a servant there. They have a bag of gold. They give you 15 gold for the night for amenities and or I guess for lodging and logistics for the prisoner.
You see how starving this guy is? You think that's enough? He needs to eat a lot.
It's fine, Sindri. I'll cover the rest of it.
Oh, up to you.
Practice kind of gives you a look and say, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. The man is he's just gonna Elson's gonna put like his arm on Soulmane's shoulder and say, you know, the appetite of a keeper's legendary, right?
I've seen a party of yours before. I think I can cover it.
All right. For the first time, you see him start smiling. As you are walking along the palace concourse, there are going to be multiple inns and nice places to stay here. And there is one of the fanciest brothels in town right along the way. The Lucky Lass. But I would say stop stop when you find one, but it's not like you guys actually can see them. As you are walking, though, he is going to, in the night air, he's going to speak up and say, "So, what's so blasted important that that the unrepentant would spring a war criminal?"
Teak glances around. Is it safe to speak?
Yeah, on the concourse, occasionally there's a wagon or a merchant's cart being pulled at this late hour, but it'd be one seldomly. But I mean, Art is a capital city. There's barely a moment where everyone's asleep. But yeah, you don't feel like you're being watched.
Teak nods and says, "Nothing less than the end of the world."
He's
Okay.
okay.
Just nod in agreement.
He is going to just kind of go solemn at this, and then say, "This have anything to do with those who attacked the mountain, or Eye of the Mountain, a month ago?"
You could say that.
He's
As he tries to hold backpacker in.
he's going to go on and say, "Well, I've been locked in that cave for some time. All I know of the outside world is what's been discussed between the guards and knights that come walking through. Things bad? They say the Northern Army was completely destroyed with the Ghost Storm.
From what the eye told us earlier, not completely, but mostly.
He's gonna nod and say, "So it's not rumors, the Eye of the Mountain's back."
Yeah.
He's gonna say, "Bless bless Soyesa's name." When we got reports that he was missing, I feared for the worst, and I heard rumors in the cells that he'd returned and fled the castle, but nothing that the guards would share in earnest.
Yeah, he's safe enough.
Unfortunately to say, due to current circumstances, I don't think we take you to sea.
He's
Yeah, that would
go ahead.
be unwise.
He's gonna nod. All right. As you are walking, I'm going to point you guys to some places. There is, of course, these are places that are already rolled up. There's, of course, the Lucky Lass. That is a brothel, a very, very nice brothel on this concourse. Then on this concourse, there is also a inn named Sar Ursa, which is a very, very nice, inn to stay at. Do either of those suit your fancy? If not, I can let you guys walk further and list more places.
I think Sar Urcha would be good.
All right, Sar Sar Urcha. It's Ursa.
that's
It's
okay.
yeah. It's a very weird word. It's like a mashup of two.
As we pass the brothel, though, like, what types of humanoids are there?
Looking inside of it, this place actually has no windows on the first floor, and the entry, like the entry door and entry hall, just like as you see, like people, maybe a person walking in here, is set up in such a way that you can't see into the finer parts of the establishment. However, let's see. You see a pretty nice looking man walk into this establishment this hour. He's pretty well dressed, looks human, but a lot of people, cloak up, walking around in the cold of night, look human. So
Okay.
all right, I'm gonna move you guys to Sar Urcha or Sar Ursa. This place is going to charge 6 gold a night for a room. It is a very nice establishment. That does, however, include your breakfast.
There's 7 of us. How many rooms do they have?
We will. It is a 4-story building. Out of all of the rooms they have available, there are currently 10.
I can stay at the university. Well, we're out of town, aren't we?
Yes, you are. Out of those 10 rooms, by the way, though, 4 of them are large rooms, and 6 of them are just basically sleeping closets, where it's just a very cramped space that, a bed's been squeezed into, a small nightstand, and a chair. So 6 sleeping quarters and 4 rooms that can fit multiple people.
How many can fit in a room or one of the bigger rooms?
I will rule the bed is made for 2, but you can fit 4 people in each one comfortably.
I don't
2
need
people
to sleep either, so.
Yeah, 2 people sleep in at the front of the bed. 1 person sleeps, across the bottom of the bed, and somebody sleeps on the floor leaned against it. But yeah, so 2 rooms would suffice for you if you get those. It's 12 gold for the night.
And are they serving food and alcohol this time of night?
At Sar Ursa, yes, there would be. What is today? The 28th day. Okay, cool. So you are going to... Soulmane is actually going to notice here. I'm just rolling 5 of these. Nothing. There are elven... there are tabards and banners of different elven circles. Hanging down from the second story of the tavern area of the inn. Stepping into this inn, there is the first floor, a performing stage on the right of the room, and a second floor balcony that looks over the stage and the first floor. Hanging down from the balcony are tabards of 5 different elven crests. Soulmane doesn't recognize any of them.
Does any of them doesn't look like anything that Soulmane was talking about?
Ask that one more time for me.
So his family crest isn't around there, right?
It is not. He does not recognize them. That's why I rolled the percentage dive. Just like, what, do you have family members in Ardor? This is one of the bars where the elven... And it becomes just kind of apparent. This is one of the bars where the elven populace of Ardor likes to congregate. That is their prime patronage. There's one man drinking at the bar this late, and there are a few groups of people at tables talking. Otherwise, you're able to talk to the tavern keep and get a room. Easy peasy.
Soulmane will head up to the bar.
Okay.
And
So
the innkeeper.
Okay.
Soulmane does, or when Fractus looks like he's about to move in to start pay, and Soulmane actually puts his hand up.
Oh, Fractus isn't worried about the pay, but Fractus is going to ask the barkeep. He's going to wait for Soulmane to do his business or whatever, and Fractus is then going to ask for me.
You cut out on the last word. A what?
A meeting room, if they have a meeting room.
Okay, what they have a meeting room?
Versus...
Well, of course they'd have a meeting room here. Yes. Okay, so let's handle this. So Soulmane walks up to the bar. The bar keep looks to be a half elven woman, and she is talking to the patron, who is a elven man. He is slumped over on the bar. He has his hand on a mug. The mug looks completely empty, and he is going to tip it over, bringing it to his lips as he lays against the bar. Nothing pours from the cup towards his face. The bartender is laughing, and after a few minutes, she's going to look at Soulmane and Fractus and say, "Oh, welcome to Sarissa. I didn't expect to have new patrons this late in the evening."
Fractus is going to respond in Elven, a custom Elven group.
Okay. She'll return it, and I feel like that's going to be a Iliaria at you. Be probably like the closest one. But they have a special one. I think I probably sent one, but I'm not going to spend time looking it up. And she is going to look from Fractus to Soulmane and say, My, your friend's a cutie.
It's in Ryuker's throat.
Does she say it in Elven or Common?
She'll say it in... Let me roll. Actually, evens odds. Was that Elven odds Common. She says it in Elven.
Who is she referring to? Cutie? Me or...
Soulmane. Soulmane looks like a half-elf.
Soulmane says in Elvish back with a smile on his face, the feeling's mutual. You're quite easy on the eyes yourself.
She's going to smile and say, Don't think you're going to get free drinks just from a single compliment. I could be persuaded, though, to give maybe one if you shower me with a little bit more.
We're actually looking for some rooms, food, and
and she's going to nod and then say, "Well, I've got a couple rooms upstairs. I'm managing the inn and tavern tonight for the lot of you, 12 gold, and I'll give you rooms and food for the evening. Drinks are on an per order basis, but I can give you a discount."
Soulmane will pull out a small sack of 40 gold and put it on the counter. This should cover the drinks, food, and rooms for the time.
Oh, and we'll need a bath, at least one.
Yeah, I forgot Elson was there. Yeah, she's going to look from the three of you up to the rest of your party with Elson, and she's going to just kind of grimace and say, "You might need more than one bath." And she's going to say, "Nevertheless, this building has sea stone plumbing in it. The rooms can get hot water."
Excellent.
I can have it. I can have a tub brought up to your room, or if you want, you can take one to the meeting room.
I think we'll let them bathe, and then we'll have our little. We'll, if it's all right, use the meeting room.
All right. Let's see. She is after you say that, she is going to call out to the kitchen and say, what is this person's name? Yowzer! Bring out some roasted duck! Bring it in the back! We got a whole party! You hear someone call back and say, I'll fire up the oven! And yeah, she's going to smile back at you. Gesture underneath the balcony to a door that leads out of the back of this open tavern area, and say the room for a party is open, but your rooms upstairs will be unlocked and a key given to each of you. Enjoy your stay at Tsar Ursa.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Let's roll her one. And she is gonna say, no. Alice. Alice. And holds a hand forward.
Soulmane will take it and kiss the back of it. Say, Alice. Well, the goddess Lilia couldn't have picked a better name for such a beautiful woman.
And she's like going to put like a hand on her chest and say, okay, 1 free pitcher of ale. But don't go trying to get more out of me tonight. She wags a finger, blushing. The elven man next to you is going to turn his head over on the bar.
Practice is going to say, I don't know if he'd want ale tonight.
Mm-hmm. The man says, I'll take it. Ooh! Well, as he burps. The woman is going to tip his cup back over. It's standing upright. And then gesture pouring inside of it. She does not pour anything. The man tilts his head back to the other side and tips the glass down towards his mouth. Nothing pours out. She continues to laugh.
How long's this been going on?
Let's roll a d4. D4s always sink to the bottom of my dice box. And it would go someplace I can't see it. She's gonna say, "Oh, I stopped serving him 2 hours ago. Didn't want to poison and kill the man." He's gonna say, "What? You're not serving me? Then what am I drinking?" She tips the glass back over and gestures, pouring inside of it again. The man then again tips it over towards his mouth. She's going to say, "We have university fizz, but it hits everybody a little bit different."
I think we'll just stick with the ale for tonight.
That'll make Sindri chuckle. Since university was mentioned.
Mm. All right. The party is able to meet privately in the back with Keeper Ilson. As you do, after a couple minutes, the barkeep is going to drag in the aforementioned tub, and then a few moments later, walk in and place a pitcher of ale on the table. There is a hearth that is unlit in this room. It is a dirt floor as opposed to the nice stone, our well-kept stone in the other room. In addition, there is... Let's roll for this type of table, because they got access to all types of wood here in Ardor. It's a trade. It's a river town. What's a really nice table? Because that rolled really high. Mahogany? Yeah, we're going to go with mahogany. A polished mahogany table. It seems surplus sitting back here. It's dusty. Right. Although, the party has their privacy. Elson is going to move the tub over to a faucet in the far part of the room. He moves the stopper from it, and water's slowly going to start pouring into it. He's going to rip off a piece of his tunic and place it in the warm water and begin rubbing at his arms with the wet cloth. He looks back over his shoulder as everybody gathers around the table and is going to say, "Well, I'm here."
Peak practice, I think this is your guys' time.
Teak nods and takes a step forward.
Alright. Give me 1 second, Aronis, to look at Ogin's spell sheet. He does not have prestidigitation. Alright, Elson.
Sentry?
I do not know. I'm controlling Ogin right now, that's why I was looking. Sindri has...
Sindri, I think he may have a 5th cantrip. Let me check here.
10 million cantrips. Anyways, Elson begins cleaning himself up slowly. After the silence kind of builds, as he's gonna say, I knew a member of the Unrepentant once. They investigated a fire set at, or rather an attack on the Chantry of Discipline down in Somar Villa. World ending, though, and they called a lot of you and me in. It's got to be pretty serious. He says as he continues washing himself.
So he's already taking a bath in the meeting room, or
He's not taking a bath. He's wiping the grime off of himself. And
cosmetic, then.
Yeah.
I thought we were doing a bath on.
No, he's not just, stripping butt naked, getting in this tub, and it's like, all right, what's going on, guys? No, the woman brought the tub in here for you, and he has taken to just using it to clean the grime off of himself, just wiping off his arms, his face, bits of his skin, not, full out stripping and bathing here.
I see.
So
The full-on bath will probably be later.
should we tell him about the earth fires?
He's gonna call back over his shoulder and says, "One's missing."
More than one.
He's gonna pause.
And missing isn't exactly the right word. It's been stolen.
I know in history they
You heard that right.
stopped burning for a couple hundred years, but stolen. How do you steal an earth fire?
Shockingly, it's easier than it sounds.
There's probably at least a handful of people in the world that could do it. With help.
Before Ogun goes to speak, Fractus goes, Ogun, can you briefly tell him exactly what's going on?
Ogun is going to look at this man and say, "Look, let's make this long story short. There were 4 earth fires. 2 of them have gone missing. We stopped them from stealing a 3rd one, and we think they're going to target a 4th one. There's an organization. They're called the 7. They've been working to undermine your nation and undermine other nations. They're powerful magic casters and powerful, influential people working at this, and we need every hand we can get to stop them." Elson's going to nod and say, pretty much sums it up. My job was protecting Elith Peak back as a keeper, but hunting down some powerful magic users. It's not too far out from hunting a beast that's attacking travelers.
Oh, the beast is already dead.
Your job is going to be simpler, one that you're familiar with.
He's going to grimace and say, had all the fun without me then. He looks to Fractus and says, what is it? Why spring me from the magnate's dungeons? Take me away from my gallows sentence.
We need every available hand that we can get. This is a tall task, one that we've struggled with, suffice to say.
Including the North, and they're not going to like this, but we need you to convince your druid compatriots to assist us in scouting and protecting the remaining Earthfires. And that does include the one under the sea.
Not to mention, you have a unique face, and we don't want to see it gone from this world.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but, you know, you do you.
Sindri grins widely. Of course.
He is going to nod and say, well, I'll board a, or rather I can travel to, Eastwind and, be on a boat on my way to Heimsdale by next week.
That sounds like a really slow method of travel. We may have another way to get you there.
He is going to put his eyebrows together and say, I can't use any of the druidic magics the eye taught me, especially not on a place where I'm not familiar with any of the forests and lands. Ogun's going to say, it's teleportation. He taps his helmet.
I'm going to actually turn... Fractus is going to turn to Tobias and go, how close could you get a small army to...
We lost you. After small army, we lost you.
How close can you get a small army to the style to Galkin's or
How close could I get them?
yeah, meaning the teleport.
I can't teleport more than, no, not many more than a half a dozen individuals at a time. If teleportation on that scale would require 2 circles, and even then it would take some time.
Practice is going to turn to Elliston and say, "How many can you muster?"
Let's see. He is going to say, well, most of the keepers under my watch died in the ghost storm. The rest who were my officers who were close to me were killed with the magnate's attack. Out of those, left maybe 5 who I trained up myself. And he's going to shake his head and say, although by now they're scattered to the winds between here and Elith, I wouldn't even begin to know where to find them. The logistical command of our forces was decimated. We settled in the lands north of the capital. The magnate's men attacked us in the night while we slept as we came to engage in diplomatic talks. From there, during the peaceful terms on are the peaceful negotiations on which we were setting the terms of the coming war, the magnate's men struck again inside of the castle. They claimed we sent an assassin, but they executed 2 of our generals there and imprisoned the rest. All of those who were in charge with commanding the logistics and movement of our forces were shattered.
Well, can't you just go in a forest and like rally all the wolves and tell them to go find them, like with your memories and such?
He is going to say, I can speak to animals, but Ogun's going to like raise his hand and say, druidic magic doesn't work like that.
Oh, my dreams have been
Mhm.
shattered.
What about sending?
Is that a druid spell?
It is not.
He's going to say, send who?
What if we gave you the capability of contacting even one of your people?
He's going to say, well, then I could contact them. I could ask them to join me, but I don't doubt that if any of these are still alive, they're either protecting their homes in the north or they're rallying for revenge against the magnate.
Well, which would be most likely to possibly know where the others are?
Hold on. Ask me that again. Brandon, as the dungeon master, I don't think he understood that.
Which of the 5 that you have in mind might be the most likely to have kept track of the others or kept in touch?
He's going to say, well, there were some keepers to the service that I helped train up, but maybe Ration himself might have employed them to help train some more keepers. That is, if he's alive.
And is there anyone that worked with Ration that would more likely be alive?
He's gonna shrug, looking back at you and say, "You didn't see that damn ghost storm when you walked into the city? That thing killed thousands when it opened up."
We didn't exactly walk in.
He's going to nod and say, "Well, out of the 5,000 keepers that were sent, and then the 16,000 swords from the northern province that were sent, less than half of those made it out, from at least what I could hear from the guards talking about. The storm opened up and people turned on each other."
Where are the fighters of the North congregating? Or are they done and this is a moot point?
He's gonna bite his bottom lip and say, "I wish I could tell you, but I've been imprisoned since before the ghost storm opened. When last I'd known, our army was 21,000 strong, standing in the northern fields of Ardor."
Is he lying?
You can roll me an insight check. But from your passive insight and from that 31, you get the sense oh, this man's telling the truth. Man, they really did ambush him right when he got here and imprison him.
You rolled 31 on insight, you said?
Yeah, he rolled a 31. Fractus rolled a 31 insight. But yeah, you feel like he's being earnest with you.
You're quickly going to end up back in jail if you're not going to help, though. So
he's
start giving us information that we can use. We need people. We don't need just you.
He is going to shrug and say, "Well, they have another general locked up in the dungeons at the Magnate's Keep, but otherwise they haven't let me contact my family, my keepers, any of the Soulsworn that I marched south with." He shakes and says, "And it's just been torchlight, bars, and guards for me. I wish I had more to offer."
Practice is going to turn to Teak and wink and say, "Looks like then we need the other general. Shall we go?" And he's going to get up.
Now, the entire party is aware. The Magnate specifically said she will not release the other general.
Practice is aware of that, but Ellison doesn't know that.
Okay.
Teak nods and says, "Do you know how sometimes your sword hand gets itchy? How sometimes it's just been so long since you've hit something. I really want to hit something."
Same.
Elson's going to stand up, turning away from the bath, and say, "I can spar, but if you want to throw me back in the dungeons," he shrugs and says, "I won't be of any use to you there. At least here."
Practice cuts him off and say, "You're not any use right now. You need to tell us something. There has to be some way to contact your men. There has to be some way to help."
Well, Practice. I think we have a way for him to contact someone.
For a second, I thought you were going to say, "We have ways of making him talk."
Soulmane says, pulling the ring off his finger and holding it up.
Grab your ankles.
Mm-hmm. He's going to say, look, I can contact whoever you want me to contact. We're a broken faction.
A army has ways and plans if they do get routed. You're not much of a general if you don't know that.
He is going to say, I was in charge of the keepers. 5,000 of our 21,000. And I did have ways, other officers, other keepers, to stand watch underneath me. They were killed. I don't think you understand. The goddess Renalta released her fury upon Ard Sarai. One out of every other person was infused with the ghostly spirit. It angered them and brought them to rage. They turned on their brethren. They killed each other. Half of everyone stabbed someone else. Only those in the city proper and close to the palace were able to run to the safety of the royal army and those who weren't possessed by the ghost storm. It opened right on top of our army.
Well, I don't think he's going to waste anything reaching out. He's only going to use something if he actually gets in contact with someone. So, might as well just try several times and see what's left.
Do we have a spell slot, or should we convene in the morning time?
We're talking about a teleport.
Sending, I think.
Sending.
What spells? Well, I haven't spent any spells, so yeah, I should have sending.
You've been pretty used, so are you sure about that? What skill?
Yeah,
spells?
You might not have any sendings left because we are working off the same spell slots of the times you were sending sendings back and forth to the Empress. This is you're at 2 a.m. of that day currently.
Alright, well, I think I did use all. I think I used all three. I think I had to borrow someone else's sending. I'm not.
Yeah. When I was controlling your character last session, I went off because I remember you'd said the session before, like you had one more slot for sending, and I don't remember what I ended up using it on, but I think I marked it on your sheet that I used it. Yeah. Yes. You cast it into Soulmane's ring, and Soulmane sent it to somebody else. That was it.
Right. Sounds like we'll need some rest or something.
Yes, it has been a heck of a long day for you. Like, my notes for the 28th are just like, oh my god.
Well, if we need to rest for the night as is, he can spend an hour getting tuned to this, and in the morning, if you don't mind, launch or put a sending in it so we can contact Pete or someone.
Right.
Sounds like a plan. Practice is going to look at him and say, I assume you aren't going to run away.
He is going to shake his head and say, as a keeper of the mountain wardens, I've sworn to protect what I can. And if my fire and my liege are gone, I'll find a new one. Or I'll find new ones.
Do I think he's telling the truth?
Yeah. Yes, you do. Our Dorians are nothing without their honor.
Well, there's no greater cause than what we've just explained to you that we know of, so you're in the right place.
As for tonight, I paid good money for food and drink, so get your fill.
It's a feast!
Mm-hmm.
Get attuned to this, and we'll worry about the logistics of this, of sending out messages in the morning.
Yeah. After a little bit, another man is going to bring in the roasted duck, and I forgot what other thing he was making for you guys. But yes. All right, you are able to eat up, rest up, bathe up, and it is going to be the morning of the 29th. All right.
I thought you were going to say suit ups for a second there, and I'm disappointed in you now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this whole episode's going to be a montage of Batman zipping up his pants.
I was thinking it's like a Power Rangers type segue.
Ending on a shot of his nipples every time.
Yes. One of my friends, his name is Andrew. He has a really funny YouTube video that he put. Has like 2 million views on his channel, and it is just George Clooney Batman like suiting up, and like him pulling up his pants and seeing bat butt and then bat nipples. Like, and it's just that for 5 minutes.
It's phenomenal.
It's great. That's
10 out of 10.
Yeah. All right. So it is the 29th. You guys are going to be getting up on the latter half of the morning since you spent so late. Everybody needs their 8 hours of rest. Elson is going to wake up feeling refreshed and getting all of his druid shenanigans back finally after having a good night of rest. That said, let's see. 29. Okay. I need to roll a percentage die for, and I won't do it as a percentage die. I'll roll it as a d4. I was like, why was my brain saying I needed to do this? For which way your rooms face. North and south. So your rooms are going to be on opposite sides of the hallway. Alright, so the party waking up on the north side of the building with their window facing northwards. As the sun rises in the north western sky, you are going to... Well, no, the sun has already risen because you're getting well after sunrise. Risen.
Do you mean risen?
Yes. You are going to see something extremely ominous and extremely off-putting.
It's me.
Brandon, are you having a stroke? Because you just said ominous.
Ominous, probably. Who knows?
Unique New York. Unique New York. Unique New York. Come on.
You are going to see something extremely concerning. On the north side of the city, over the mountains, across the river, the sky is as black as the night sky. It is swirling, and it appears to be a storm that does not seem to be moving with the winds at all. It is just hovering like a tear in the fabric of the sky. If there was, if the keeper kept talking about the ghost storm last night, didn't you see it? You guys didn't see the ghost storm? Everybody's been talking about it. You are going to very well now be aware, of what he was talking about. And I'm going to rule he's in that room too. Waking up, he's going to look northwards and, see it for the first time in earnest.
Would it be an Arcana or religion check to sort of find out more details about?
I'll allow you either.
I mean, so both of them are equally pertinent?
Yes, either or. You could look at it and it's ooh, that's a tear in the planar fabric of Ilderon.
Gonna be,
are you doing it as Arcana or as religion?
I did Arcana.
It was mentioned it's Umia's Fury, so I'm going to do religion. They're both the same.
Okay, it was Renalta's Fury. Alright, so you and Sindri are going to be inspecting... Tobias and Sindri are going to be inspecting this storm. And just from the way it's up there, is moving about, looking at it, and the descriptions the Keeper gave you of it, you are going to be able to discern this is no natural phenomenon.
That's no moon.
Yeah. Tobias is going to be aware that Renolta is also known as the Gatekeeper. Another title for her is the Goddess of Death. There are a triptych of duties, or rather, she's a triptych goddess, as her duties are split between her three different personalities. And one of those personalities is safeguarding souls as they pass from... Or one of those responsibilities is safeguarding souls as they pass from Ilderon into the afterlife and shepherding them across the bridge into the realm of Providence.
This would not be her actions then.
Would say that again?
This would not be her actions then. Obviously,
well,
souls around in the storm.
Looking at these souls up here, if she was the cause of this, whatever these whatever vengeful spirits are circling around this, obviously if she made this thing, she wanted to make some sort of statement of some sort of reminder given to this city, and you feel a latent amount of danger within the ghost storm, although it does not feel like it's threatening you immediately. You do see it as like a symbol and act of the gods, but it's up there kind of as I guess like a plague almost. Of why do gods send plagues on their followers or other people? And then for Sindri, you are going to know with that 15, you're going to know, of course, this is no natural act of arcane magic. And if this happened like months ago, it is definitely out of your realm. Like any magical storm that could have been conjured or released would have faded unless it was either A, the act of a god, or B, fueled by some magical item. That's all the information Sindri gets.
Alright, what about, can you think of anything that he's heard or read of in the history of this area that could cause the wrath of that god to be pissed at them?
Well, two things are very prominent, and I'm not going to make you roll for this, about Arder Sarai. On the western part of this country, in what was a land in ancient time known as Emirian, was the place where the undead were first created. The first person to dabble with necromantic arts did so in the western part of Arder Sarai. And then, additionally, you also know the first ascended god, which is a god who was a human, who was mortal, dying, and then as they die, they're being reborn instantly on the spot with deific powers. There have been 4 ascended gods in history. The very first one, and all 4 of them come from Arder. The very first people to truly defy death and be reborn anew happened in this nation. Historically, if you can think of like any place that, the goddess of death might not like, it might be a nation that defies death.
Oh, so blame me for it. Thanks.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody turns to the undead caster in the party.
Mm-hmm.
So, is there still anyone alive that's like perpetuating this creation of the undead in this country that we know of?
The keeper is going to shrug and say, a couple Terrai roam through the flame gate, but he shrugs and says, as long as they don't kill anybody while they're in town, we just normally let them pass. Gotta keep an eye on them, though, while they're around. Never know who might be trying to eat your soul.
No, you don't.
That was a legitimate cough. That wasn't
we really...
The next person that coughs gets cursed.
that was a legitimate cough. That was not a looking at Tobias cough.
That's what a traitor would say.
I guess we'd have to talk with that goddess to see what's pissing her off. I don't really know at this point. Like, how to appease her or resolve this storm.
Alright, I'm gonna roll a gossip check for the Keeper, and he's gonna say, I heard she got into a feud with the First Ascended. You returned. Galesong is in the country doing something? Think fighting the magnate and her mom? He shrugs.
Your mom. Well, there's a simple solution to the problem. We ignore it.
Well, that doesn't fare well for the city or its populace.
You know what else doesn't fare well for the city or its populace? Another god rising to being.
Wait,
Let Ronaldo have her tantrums.
Ah. Well, if we happen to run...
Lecture the Ascended while standing in a room with two people that are devout followers of an Ascended God.
Mm-hmm.
You will be purged in time.
He's aware of the spells that are in it, right? Isn't it just pass without...
There's nothing in it right now.
There's nothing.
Because I had to clear it out. I had to clear it out last time, so I sendings.
He's going to flex the ring on his hand and says, "So should I store my magics in here, or?"
Oh, so what, did you just want sending again?
Well, he's going to be the one sending, but I think so he can contact one of his people. That's what we're going to need, correct?
Yeah, you store him in the ring, and he can use it from the ring. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll expend that. Put ring in. Put sending in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, I'll have a stroke.
All right.
I find it funny that's the second stroke joke tonight, and I've actually had one recently.
Oh.
Wait, what?
Anthony played from a hospital bed a few weeks ago.
I literally had a stroke like a month ago.
Pardon the fuck out of me.
You don't understand, JD. I could give two shits. I find it funny as fuck.
Alright, so casting Sending into the ring. Sending's a 3rd level spell.
That's correct.
Yeah.
It can hold up to 5th level.
Yeah.
5 levels.
Well, yeah, he's not going to cast anything into it. Alright, so, he is going to say, I'll contact Keeper Ration. He's a survivor. Him and his brother did well their time in Elith. If anybody knows where the rest of our forces are, he would do well to organize them. He is going to close his hand into a fist, and he casts Sending. Who wants to roll me an evens or odds die?
I'm ready.
Yeah, roll me a d20. Evens, this guy's alive. Odds, he's dead. Alright. There we go. Okay, he is going to cast Sending. You see him wait for a moment. He looks down. And then he looks up. And
howdy, folks.
Hey! It's Jeff Aronis. If you guys don't mind for a quick second. Well, actually, I won't do it. Does somebody want to catch Jeff up to where we're at?
Nothing's happened.
Pretty sure you're wrong about that.
We sat around and talked for a bunch, sprung a guy from jail.
Okay, I missed a jailbreak? Damn it.
No!
Well, it was a relatively peaceful jailbreak. They kind of just let us walk out with him.
We handed him a piece of paper.
Oh, that's boring. Alright, moving on.
Alright, so, he casts Sending in this ring. You're talking... Oh, by the way, you are in an inn room with the Keeper Elson. He is the druid that you got... The druid general that you got released into your service. He casts Sending through this ring. He looks up and says, Ration's headed back to Elith Peak. He's just north of Darandar. He's got about 20 keepers with him. Not many survived. Those that did joined Lord Rinnelpaw.
Is he willing to help us?
He's gonna say I could only say so much. He did not have the word count to ask for help. There's, hey, this is, blank, or this is Elson. I'm free from jail, helping the unrepentant. Where are you? Are any keepers, helping you out? Who survived the attack? Where is everyone? It's about, what he was able to get in the sending.
Do I need to cast another 3rd level? Do I need to give him another sending to use?
If you could.
Alright, I'll give him...
Into the ring!
Other
He clutches his fist like Thanos again.
So before you do that, think ahead and about what you're going to say and where you're going to meet everyone and how you're going to coordinate this.
In Ardorian, think ahead? Blasphemy. No, I'm kidding. Alright, he will think, and by he will think, I will say the Dungeon Master will think. Okay, after a moment, he closes his hand again, casting Sending. He is then going to reply and say, let's look at this real quick.
I like how we've upgraded from making Brandon have 20-minute conversations with himself to having
invisible sendings with himself. Gotta zoom in a little bit more. And alright. He's going to say in a day and a half's time, we can meet them in Elith.
Out of character, that's not on the map proper, so where is that?
Let us go to I dragged you guys to the map too. Darandar is actually that's too thick. If you look over at that if you look over at the map on the right, I will draw this out. And this is one of the things of why I'm so excited for the new map software I want to share with you guys tonight, because it is going to be super cool. Alright, Darandar is the green X that I drew. The red path is the path that they are taking, and I will draw this as a magenta X. Elith is the magenta X. It is a large town in the foothills south of the mountains that leads towards all of the safe mountain passes to take if you want to travel through the Ardorian mountains.
So we've been there.
Yes, you have been there. This group has been to Elith before, both incarnations of it. You went there while the army was in the south. The army then got destroyed in the south and then started licking their wounds and heading north.
Well, if we've got a day and a half, we might as well go all the way to Heimsdale and get that done in the meantime.
Can't exactly get anything done there without recruits.
Well, we have to start somewhere. We have what we have. Who else were we recruiting for that project?
Now, it has been a while since this party met. And Jeff, if you're talking, by the way, your mic's muted. I haven't heard anything you've said.
I haven't said anything.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure.
Thanks.
Now, with that said, though, you have to start somewhere. I do want to remind the party they do have leads on where to find the 7.
Well,
Which is that temple and the...
Yeah, those 2 Nazram soldiers in the Tide Gate. And then also, you know they're probably going to attack the Earthfire in Heimsdale.
well, I like taking the fight to them. So,
That would be the Isles, right?
I believe so. There was a question of getting an exact location, I think.
And it was a lead to possibly finding that exact location. But it may be risky because we don't trust the source.
I think we have options for scoping things out and being relatively quiet about it.
True.
Well, we need this group to help us defend and let us know if something's going on in either of the 2.
Well, we've just been delayed by a day and a half by the sending. Instead of going directly to them, we're meeting somewhere. So we have lots of time. That's what I'm saying.
That's if we travel. We've been there. We can teleport if we need to. How many teleports do we have in the helm?
It's the start of a new day. By the way, Jeff, you can roll a D4 or D3 for Ogin's helmet to regain
I want to
charges.
say I was only down 1 or 2. I get 1 back. Hang on, let me look.
I think the die you roll is like a D4 minus 1.
It's D3.
Oh,
pretty
D3.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I was down to 2, so it's back to full.
Alright. All you guys have to do is give me a place or direction.
We can, since we have some time, head to the Isles and see about if we feel it's necessary. Talk to those people that might have some intel for us. And still be back in time, or head there tomorrow.
Okay, that sounds good.
We're still going to have the logistics once we meet up with them of getting them to the locations that we need.
Tobias,
Sir,
you have a teleportation circle to the Vale, do you not?
I have access to one, yes.
If we sent them to the Vale, and maybe if you went with them and got them on their way where they needed to go and came back to us, that work?
Blocking on the cat. Well, thinking about it. I could take the circle to the Vale and then bring myself and several other individuals back.
Elson looks a little uncomfortable at this before he finally speaks up and says, "Look, I'm sworn to your service as a duty of the unrepentant. But these other keepers, the recruits, the young ones, spry enough and far enough away from the storm to be able to escape its carnage." He shakes his head and says, "Our Dorians are a superstitious lot. You're not going to convince. You're not going to convince the whole group of them to go into the Vale. You know it's in that place, right?"
Yes, I'm well aware of what's in that place. And that's why I'm going to tell you that if these compatriots of yours have any sense of gravity, they will put their superstitious natures aside and act in the spirit of the greater good.
Besides, they have the blessings of the god.
He's going to go silent, looking to the side.
I mean, if you're certain that they won't consent to this, then we're wasting our time.
He's just going to say, well, if all I'm saying is if time is of the essence, you might do better rallying mercenaries to your cause with gold rather than spending efforts convincing battle-scarred Ardorians to jump into magical gateways to the other side of the world and work with soul leaders and the Ascended know who else.
I'm gonna stop you there before there's an issue. I don't know if you know much about the Vale, but they don't to worry about that kind of situation there. The Vale is actually one of the safest places for non-Terrai to interact with Terrai.
And the soul leaders that you speak so fondly of are willing to fight, whereas your battle-scarred compatriots apparently are not.
Again, he's gonna say, well, you got me there. We've been shattered and defeated, but I hope our brethren's join in the fight if it's this important to the Chantry. He's just gonna speak up and say, it's one of the tenets of Ardor is freedom and choice. Sometimes we don't always exercise it to make the best choices available.
At least we can do is talk to them tomorrow and see what we can get out of it.
Besides, you can use your general nobility and order your men.
All
You
right.
have to have the right spirit when you speak with them. You can't just be willy-nilly, you know? You gotta rally them. An important thing for the world. We'll get as much meat and muscle back on your bones as quick as we can, but you just have to have your presence from your own depths.
He's gonna nod and say, I'll think about what I can say to them. It's gonna be difficult. You have to understand, these men, these keepers, we served a lost god for our entire lives, or some of them served a lost god for their entire lives. When we heard the magnate and the Bertolfs, the leaders of this country, had taken up worship of demons and devils and evil names of shatterers. He shook his head and says, we rallied, we united for what we thought was right, for what we believed in, for our hearts and for our valor. And all of that valor, all of that goodwill was then met with the carnage of that ghost storm, the assaults of our magnate, and the night during peaceful talks. Or in the night while we slept, or during peaceful talks while we negotiated. Trying to inspire these men to sacrifice for the greater good when they've already given everything for it is just going to be difficult.
Your cause is still the same. It's just your enemy is bigger.
You said Galesong has been returned, hasn't he?
Or so I've heard.
Then continue to say that.
Say that until proven otherwise.
Hey, Tobias.
Sir.
Your sending spell. Do you need to have met someone to use it on them?
Stand by. Yes, I have to be familiar with them in order to speak.
It's familiar, but does that entirely mean you have to know them personally? Would you be able to contact Galesong?
You're asking me to contact a deity?
Well, I mean, it's not like you're not unfamiliar with who he is.
Well, this is honestly something that I've never considered before. And given my unique nature, it might prove hazardous, but if it means ending this travesty, I'm willing to try.
Oh, can you put, maybe coming from a Nardorian general of the Mountain Wardens might be a little easier of a pull?
I mean, I'm coming into contact with the deity, and if I have to convince them in 25 words or less to reveal itself to his people, or what exactly are we trying to convey here?
If we can get them to even just meet with us now or sometime today, talk direct, that might prove beneficial. Something along the lines of, we're trying to get the earth fire that he was reborn from, back from the people who took it.
True. If we're doing this also to rally these men, he's mentioned they were broken. How many? You said there's 20 of them left, scattered to the winds. Is it really worth our time?
I mean, 20 soldiers is still better than 0.
Well, I have one sending left for the day. If I will need time to consider what I'm about to do, and certainly what I'm about to say. And I'm certainly open to suggestions.
Well, we can do a similar, if you're not again, if you're not comfortable being the one trying to convince him, maybe Teak or Fractus would be better, since they are technically followers of the same religion.
Well,
They worship his sister, essentially.
I'm confident in my abilities. I just want to make the most of it, and we'll see how how well Galesong responds to reason.
Well, what do you think, Elson? Do you think if your men were asked by Galesong himself, they would be more inclined to help?
What knowledge has he heard? He rolls a religion check about Galesong since he has been back. He's going to say that I've heard Galesong isn't the great god, hero of legends with the stories that tell about him, but I haven't been able to separate what's truth from fiction. He shrugs and says, the Ascended, they come when they're needed, when they're called. That's what makes them Ascended. I can think of no greater person to call on for aid, though. If it be in his holy will.
What do the rest of you think?
Brandon, I rolled religion to see what Tobias knows about Gale.
Man, you're killing these religion checks tonight. Why is Tobias so smart about stuff?
Because he's a wizard, and smart is what they do.
Fair.
That's all I got, Brandon.
All I got is my brain, which is rotting. Let me use it as much as I can. Oh, excuse me. Okay. You are going to know. I'm going to save you this stuff, but obviously you can ask me questions about any of it, but I'm going to just tell you what's relevant. You know the story of Galesong's ascension, why he became a god. That is irrelevant to what you're asking. You know the history of Galesong, and he was worshipped as a god, as like the first ascended god, for nearly 200 years before the nation of Ililnagai got into a religious war with Artur Sarai. Ililnagai, being a religious nation, did not like that people were starting to worship powerful humans as gods, and took up war with Artur Sarai. They attacked the nation, and there was a religious war in which the Sky Queen of Ililnagai, who was said to be gifted a magical sword from her goddess, attacked Artur Sarai and fought Galesong in battle. The blade cut him, and it was the first time he ever bled. At that moment in history was when Ililnagai called off the war, essentially believing that, hey, look, the Ascended bleed, they're not gods. And the two nations made peace. But a couple years after that, Galesong drifted out of the history books, and he had not been heard from for about 750 years. It might be 650. I don't wholly remember. I didn't write this world. I'm kidding. And the stories tell of Galesong as being wild, irrational, and unpredictable. And that was one of the reasons why he was such a effective general, because nobody knew what his strategy would be and nobody could counter it. And then one of the other things is that that personality playing into the belief of a god, all of those aspects are kind of like magnified. A lot of followers within Galesong's chantry are along the alignment of chaotic good, Freedom is a tenet that is very important to them, and they all have that same unpredictability kind of caked in to them. As far as if Galesong will help you in this predicament because of what you know about him from history, you are led to believe that if he has returned, and he's been away for 750 years, whereas the other Ascended have been very present in the world and very actively doing things and leading their followers and doing things, and if he was alive for this whole time and in the world for this whole time, but wasn't doing anything with his followers or chantry, you get the impression that he probably doesn't like the idea of his religion. And if he doesn't, there's a high chance he probably won't help you calling on aid from your blessed, benevolent God.
Perfect. Alright. Well...
Could I also put a ditty in your ear, Wesley? I don't know if you remember this. Way back in Group 1, your group attacked a ruby mine. You were controlling a character named Dirge at the time.
Yeah.
There was a drunkard there who foiled your plans and protected the mine workers when you guys started a revolt. And he saved a child in the mine that you guys almost killed.
Yeah.
That drunkard was Galesong.
Oh.
Yes.
The Dirge knows he's alive.
Yeah, Group 1 interacted with him several times.
Yeah.
Group 1 almost got along with him a little bit. But yes, anyways, that's what your religion check lets you know.
Group 1 probably called him a piece of shit on more than one occasion.
Yeah, actually he did. Right when you guys first met him. And you didn't know it was him.
Alright.
That is frighteningly on brand for Group 1, by the way, to meet a god and be like, this guy's a piece of shit.
I mean, to be fair, Group D hasn't had the best time with him either.
Who more qualified than Group 1 to judge who's a piece of shit and who's not?
Right? I mean, they know from experience.
We wrote the fucking book on pieces of shit. Alright, well, he's going to sit down in a chair, and he's going to, if we're gonna do it, he'll say, I'm going to try to contact Galesong. I don't know if it'll do any good, but it's worth the effort. I have 25 words. Is there anything anybody would like to put up for consideration as to what we can say to make this work?
So the goal is what? To get him to inspire his people and get them to rally under him to work for us?
To get him to come, if he is alive, to get him to come out of hiding and take some responsibility for the, the chantry that worships him, preferably.
If we can't convince him with the sending itself, if he can at least convince him to come talk to us in person, so we can fully go over everything.
Out of character, did we get that whole thing about him being a drunkard and such? Like, maybe we could offer him some wine.
That's a whole separate beast that knows that information.
No, you guys do not know that about him. There's just rumors circulating in the world that he's returned. Because somebody had to force him out of hiding and to fight a half demon demigod. Somebody. No, I'm kidding. Alright, so the decisions to send Galesong a sending. What are you saying?
So, we're trying to convince him to come out of hiding, and I literally I can't actually reply to it. I can just send this out and hope I'm not left on.
Well, you can cast sending at a higher slot. You just don't get any bonus from it.
Well, also include.
Yeah, if you're like a 4th level slot, you can cast it in that.
Oh, okay.
Definitely want to include where to meet us. You know, if you get a positive reply, then we'll know. Where.
So, to where shall I summon this guy? To here? Like, might as well, I guess.
This is as good a place as any.
And if we pick
I would summon it where the Andorians are if we're gonna do the Andorian thing.
Well, we want to talk to him first, see if he'll even agree to that much.
Yeah, but here's the situation. You just have them go to there to meet, and then all the Andorians are going to be like, "Hey, that's our god is right there." We don't necessarily have to get his approval or not approval. We just have to have him show up.
They can positively ID him. He's been gone for 700 years. I don't know what he looks like. Have to get him or trick him into doing something that shows them that he's who he truly is.
Yeah, we can ask, and then people are like, "Who are you talking to?" That was Gelsong.
Sure.
They can believe us or not believe us.
So, what, the courtyard of the fort we were just in? Is that where we're going to meet? Or right in their throne room?
Again, I would suggest the town that everybody's meeting.
Town square.
What are you talking about, Steve?
I don't know. You said which town?
I don't know
I'm sorry.
the town's name.
Ardor is the one you're in. I can move you guys back to the Ardor map.
No, they're trying to figure out where the meeting for the Mountain Wardens.
Oh, Elith. Elith is where the Mountain Wardens are meeting.
So come to Elith.
Yeah, come to Elith in a day's time. And then pick a time and we'll just make sure we're there.
All right, I'm typing this out in such a way that it's actually 25 words.
All right.
All right, one more second. Sorry.
That's fine. I'm just doing thought noodle stuff for myself. And
Brandon,
somebody roll me
one more word.
Will I spot you one more what?
Would you spot me 26 words instead of 25?
26 words instead of 25. I was gonna make a mean quote. I don't remember the meme, but it's the "I am a benevolent," the Xerxes one from.
I'm a generous god.
I am a generous god.
You can have one more word.
Earth and water.
I did have something I was about to say. Somebody roll me a d12, by the way. Any person. Okay, cool.
3.
TYVM. And while Wesley's composing that, I suppose I'll just outsource this too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Somebody roll me a d6. Okay, cool. TYVM. Alright, so I just got I just got it. Do you want to say it on stream of what you say?
Yeah, I can say it. If I pull it back up.
Okay.
So he's going. So do I know before I speak or after I speak whether it actually goes through or not?
That's a good question. Deities can block sending at will. So
The message has been blocked.
But does he have his power? That's the other question.
You can no longer reply to this conversation.
Because he's had issue with his powers lately.
Alright, let's see. You send a short message of 25 words or less to a creature. Mine, spell, you can send... Alright. So, you are going to be able to send that sending. The magic dissipates and leaves your body as the sending goes off. You can say the message you were about to say.
Your people are shattered and broken. The earth fires are being consumed. Come to Illith in one day and rally your people, or leave them to perish. Question mark.
It's a very, very powerful question mark there.
All right.
Playing.
I'm gonna allow you one more free roll with this. Roll me a persuasion check going along with this sending.
Does anyone have inspiration?
I have inspiration. But I have a +8 in persuasion, so it's not too bad.
24.
I'll take it.
All right. You're going to get a reply. And your mind, you're going to hear... it's damn rude to just be sending messages into other people's minds. Leave me, the bridge, alone. We'll see how I feel in a day's time. That is all you get. And then you get another message in your mind and say, you know what? And another thing. I stopped that damn demon cult for you all. You can't put yourselves together enough to fight one last war? That's all you get. And then you get another message in your mind that says, you know what really irks me? You guys want the gods to do all of your, to solve all of your problems. You really need to learn to figure this out on your own.
Thanks, Dad!
And then you get another message and says, Gilsong the Magnanimous has decided to bless you. And...
Is that good?
We'll find out.
Tobias feels empowered.
Well, apparently.
Tobias, you can add 1 3rd level spell to your sheet.
Sending
1 3rd level spell slot to your sheet. Gilsong has refunded your call.
Wait. An extra slot?
You have. He has given you one. He has blessed you today. You have 1 additional spell slot for the day.
Hey. So
he has given you back the change you used on the call.
So Tobias just sort of sits there frozen for a second, kind of tapping his hands like, Well, Gilsong is alive, and he is displeased, and says he will quote, see how he feels in a day's time. And he has blessed me, apparently.
The keeper is going to create a diamond with his fingers and just kind of like a holy prayer motion and bow slightly at Tobias, who's been blessed by an ascended.
Blessed by the neckbeard ascended. Apparently. Please, I am not worthy of worship. Yet.
Well, that's positive in a sense.
I'm alive. That's plenty positive. I'm still here. That's positive enough.
I guess he is actually returned.
Does Tobias actually say it that way?
Yes.
Practice chuckles.
So, what do we do next?
I must have been daydreaming. Did we get a reply from that guy?
Several.
Oh,
Yes.
you want me to repeat exactly what he said?
If you wouldn't mind.
Actually, I'll repeat exactly what he said.
Yeah,
The messages.
I don't remember the exact what he said, but he said he mentioned he will come if he feels like it in a day's time. He told you guys that you need to learn how to solve your own problems. His country depends on its gods to do everything. And then he also said he beat back some damn demon cult for the country, and that wasn't he was flabbergasted that wasn't enough for you. And I think that and then he replied and was like, you know what, sorry, here's a blessing, and he blessed Tobias and gave him a 3rd level spell slot.
Bro.
Okay.
A bit testy, this one.
Mm-hmm.
See, if that was Fractus, I would have used that spell slot and asked him, so is that saying you are coming or you're not coming?
I'm good. Good
This is why we don't let practice do sendings.
Oh, speaking of which, Elson is going to start taking the ring off of his finger. He's going to offer it towards Soulmane.
Thank you. This thing has actually been super useful, hasn't it?
Hasn't it, though?
He's, Elson's going to look up and say, yeah. I suppose if a second Earthfire was taken, we could go to Lil Nagai and investigate what happened.
We know what happened. We were there.
He's gonna bite his lip and say, so it's really that bad then?
Yes.
You know what a deafen is?
He's gonna just kind of like piff his lips and say, read about them. We have werewolves in the mountains, but yeah, they get out of line once or twice, and you hunt one or two, and then they normally keep to themselves. Ain't been a death in years.
Yeah, well, apparently there was. And remember last night when I said we already killed the beast?
So what other demons do they have working with them?
High elves.
He starts laughing.
You'll trigger Fractus, be careful.
That's damn good. Oh,
Plus,
you weren't joking.
No.
Hi, this is Soulmane. He doesn't joke. He has almost no sense of humor whatsoever.
This coming from you, stern voice?
We could have a less sense of humor contest. I'm gonna bet on Teak though.
Thank you, Ogun.
Anytime.
I don't
No.
know whether that means that Ogun cares about me or is dumpstering me in the truck.
Take it as a compliment and just enjoy it.
I mean, I was going to, but
It's probably wisest to take anything I say as a compliment. Because if I'm really trying to insult anyone, it's usually after I chew on their face for a while, so...
Regardless.
Geek, under her mask, blushes.
Regardless, I wasn't kidding, though I said it as a joke, or in a way as a joke. Jim Prius Mari is part of this mess.
Yeah, it kind of sounded like that.
I want to know your theories on what the heck they're trying to summon. What is that?
Well, we know what they're trying to summon, apparently.
Well, we know what they say they were trying to summon, but that can't be. Unless what we think it is isn't what we think it is.
I mean, I'm under the assumption that it might not be what they think it is, but it's what they believe.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't think there's any historically accurate tellings of what truly happened or who or what that being is. So,
Someone asked for a history check. What?
So what's the play here, guys? Do we want to head up and wait for our potential army? Should we head off to the islands and try to do some scouting ahead of time?
Scouting is always good.
Scouting in force is even better. Even better than that is when you go, oh, look, a thing, and kill it. Mostly because it needed killing. And we know stuff out there needs killing, so I don't plan on leaving anybody behind for that little trip.
That's more preemptive this we can be, the better off everyone will be.
All right. So the decision is to head off to the islands.
Let's sink them.
All
I
right.
can't.
The island that you were told these two Nazaram soldiers are on. I will type it. It's a weird name. It's Okatoa Tier. Okatoa Tier. And that is its name right there.
Apparently it's Hawaii.
Has anyone... The Tide Gate's a very weird place. The Tide Gate, like, as far as, like, the languages and the names of the islands, a lot of them are influenced from, like, Viking and Norse culture, then matched up with the naming conventions of Ilderon and of, like, Swahili, like the Swahili language, and it gets to some very interesting stuff. But let's see. This particular island is going to be in the central part of the Tide Gate. Almost, well, actually, I don't know why I'm describing it when I can circle stuff. Because welcome to Roll20. Alright. Who here has traveled the Tide Gate before?
I don't know. Sindri's traveled all over delivering stuff or whatnot. But...
Yeah, but Sindri can't cast teleport. The main question was if Ogun or Tobias had been there. Neither one of you have, but you can read about it in a book and try and teleport there on the scene once.
So,
table.
I guess.
just hang on a sec. So just as far as like distances, and if you're standing on top of a mountain in Red Axe, how far can you see? Is that within the range of vision, or would that be over the horizon?
I would say that's over the horizon. That's a couple 100 miles away.
Okay. I guess the other question is the other thing that we have not specifically determined is how did Ogun get to Alilnagai? Did he walk or did he catch a boat?
You know what? I think the fairest way to do that would be a evens or odds die. Evens by... Well, you know what? It's your character. I'll let you decide.
Yeah, I said that, and then right after it's like, nah, Ogun would walk.
Yeah, so that's what I was feeling too, but I didn't want to, like, intentionally say in this moment, like, ha! You can't do the thing that's easiest for ya! But then, yeah.
Why did you turn into a pirate right there?
Because pirates are mean to people. That was me being mean to you guys. Go ahead,
question,
Anthony.
Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
Would Soulmane have ever been there for a job?
Would Soulmane have ever been... Well, see, that's the other thing, though. Soulmane can't cast teleport, but you can describe it to somebody. I will rule that Soulmane would have been there, not for a job, but if you remember, your guild traveled the Path of Glory when they first came to this land, and the Path of Glory does go through that island.
Okay. Because I'm asking for, since the Helm of Teleportation, I now have an open attunement slot since I don't have my ring attunement.
You guys keep passing these items around. I lied. Soulmane's never been there before a day in his life. I'm kidding.
Well, actually, if you reattune the ring, couldn't you fit a teleportation spell into it?
No, teleportation's a 7.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
But if Ogun would be willing to let Soulmane use the helm...
Yeah.
Can he wear the fancy hat?
Ooh, fancy hat.
It has been a 2-month in the work process scheme for Soulmane's getaway plan. Earn their trust. Get the helm. Teleport away.
That'd be so bad.
Oh, yeah, but Ogun would totally hunt you down for that shit.
Oh, yeah. No, that's not my intention at all.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry.
Possible to track where someone teleported to using Arcana?
Technically, you could scry on me.
Yeah, you could. Yeah,
actually, no. If I knew him, who he was, I could just teleport to him.
Alright, so, is the decision, though, to let Soulmane use the helmet, or does Soulmane want to describe the place to...
I don't trust him.
Them, yeah.
Well, I guess I'll leave that to them, and I'll be like...
Yeah, he can use the helmet. It's not a big deal.
I've been to the island. I can, if you let me use the helmet, Ogun, I can teleport us there.
Okay. The biggest question is, like, you've been there, but do you have anything from there? How much does that improve our odds is really what I'm looking for here.
Well, if it's a place I've been, like, out of character, if it's a place I've been, I believe it's an auto pass.
No, it's a place that you're very familiar with.
Sorry.
Yeah. Very familiar gives us a 75% chance of landing it, which is good. Viewed once is only 25% chance, roughly. So, yeah, it's probably worth it. Alright. Put my stone of good luck back on.
Alright. So you take an hour to attune. Along with the hour that this conversation has taken, you are going into midday, by the way. That said, you teleport. Or rather, Soulmane is able to attune to the helmet. Everybody grabbing hands gives you Soulmane, Fractus, Tobias, Sindri, Ogun, Teak, and do you take Elson with you? Because that would put you at the 7 limit of teleport.
I mean, probably, because we can't exactly leave a war criminal walking around the city by himself.
Okay, alright. Well, I'm sorry, up to 8, so there's like one more person if you guys pick up somebody in the tide to 8. Okay, Soulmane. Everybody joins hands. You have the helmet on your head. Whenever you choose to cast teleport, roll me a d100.
Look, be a lady tonight. Ready, guys?
No.
This is how we're
Hit it.
73. Let's see. 25 to 100 is on target. Soulmane closes his eyes. And let's roll this up. Alright. Soulmane is going to close his eyes. He is then going to envision the island that he remembers with the gladiatorial arena on it. Oh god, I never named the city this place was in. Well, we're gonna... You know what, we'll just call it Okatoatir City. Okatoatir City, yeah, that's fun. It's going to be the major city on this island. Closing your eyes, you remember the marble walls of it, the obsidian floor dug into the grounds around the island, the raised tapestries and altars and oh my gosh, bleachers around this arena, the people sparring inside of it, and you cast teleport. You are all ripped out of the fabric of the material plane, blink out of existence, and then you feel an island and sea breeze blowing over your face. You hear the
That
sounds...
sounds uncomfortable.
Yeah. You hear the sounds of metal clashing and people cheering. In the distance, you can see tournament grounds and a collection of people looking down into a marble-walled arena. You can't see who's fighting in the arena. You just hear the sounds. In the distance behind you, the path, you can see a coastal town. And yeah, you are on the island of Okatoatir, and you are in Okatoatir City. And let's go to some jubilant music.
This seems to have worked pretty well.
Yeah, good landing.
No one died.
I wonder if I have a generic island I can move us to. Alright, yes, everybody is there with you. Alright, Elson is going to look around and say, who are these men you're meeting with? Oh, I'm going to post it in Group A because it's been probably a while and I don't know who remembers or... their names were Alanoth and Kuiper Noth. And the two notes you had about them were that they were Nazarim soldiers who could point you in the direction of Jin Prius's temple.
Here to meet up with some Nazarim soldiers.
He's gonna nod and say, oh, it's the Tide Gate. They probably recruit on every island. Might be an emissary inside a town.
Well, what do you guys think? Sounds like as good a spot as any to start.
I suppose.
Wait, we're not
Teak
blowing
nods.
something up.
Practice, you've been uncharacteristically quiet about all of this.
Yep. I, for some reason, feel like I need a beer standing here. But let's go to town. I should be able to find some type of contact for some help.
Well, if anything, we have a way of getting information from possibly some Ruby.
That's true. We can do Ruby Alliance stuff too. Let me see what I can do.
You got it, Rupert.
Horn Swallow. So we might end up stopping a little bit short tonight, but we're going to keep going for now. I have the information that I need that you guys would learn on this island rolled up. It's just on my laptop, so I was just like looking through my folders because I made it while I was over the while I was in Montgomery for the summer. All right, so you are going to head to town. Inside of town, there are a collection of buildings, and I'm actually just going to roll a D100 of like how big this city is. And so most of it is going to be a port city of things coming in and out of the port. You're going to see a cathedral rising out of the center of the town. Something or with emblems in the windows and of it marking it as part of the given wills. Nearest to it, you are going to see a tower that appears to be a watchtower. On the tower, there's going to be a banner of a claw or of a dragon scratching at a three-tiered tower. It is the emblem of Nazram. You can see in the distance as you approach. And actually, yes.
Brendan, does the ear to the ground, does that actually, can I find somebody that could help point us in that, of those two gentlemen?
Okay, well, you actually already have your lead on that, so I'm going to say your ear to the ground is knowing to ask around the embassy. And yeah, just generally, like, you can like ask around the servants of the embassy to get a beat on these two people. But yeah, I'm gonna roll that is already in use in this island. Of like you have like that insight already.
Well, let's head to the embassy then.
Okay. Is that the decision for everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sure.
Walking inside of the Nazram embassy, and I can post this on your guys' group a little bit later. But the emblem that I was actually talking about is the emblem we use for the channel for Lost Dragon. It's actually that is the crest of Nazram right there, of that mythical creature attacking the three towers. But you are going to head towards the embassy. Inside of the embassy, the lobby of this place is going to have the three-tiered towers in the central, each as a fountain spewing or overflowing water over the all three of the towers down into the pool below. On top of the towers is going to be that image of a dragon. It is a statue with its wings stretched out. There are... Let's see how busy this place is. There are 7 people moving about in here amongst the first floor of the tower. As you step in, somebody is going to approach you. It's a man, and he's got a ledger in his hand. And he's going to look at each of you and say, are you mercenaries from the recruitment campaign? Well, if you head to the second floor, it's 150 sea coins per... it's 150 sea coins per head that signs up. My name is Truncalin, and I can get your information and submit it to our scribes. What are each of your names, and what's the company you serve at the behest of?
Chief
Actually,
Kilmani Calfira. Fucked up my own last name.
And he's gonna start writing. It's that 2 N's and Amani, or well, I think
No,
I've
just
got it. He looks at the rest of you.
Is this why we're here, guys?
I don't think we're here to sign up for a mercenary.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Yeah.
Well, they asked for our names. It would be rude not to.
Oh, he says, by Lilia's grace, I'm sorry. We've just been so short-handed lately. We've been doing everything we can to recruit on the island. He puts the ledger down and under his arm.
What's the issue? Why do you need so many recruits?
This is Arter Sarai is engaged in civil war. They withcalled all of their soldiers from Nazaram's forces. Lost a damn third of our army.
I see. So you need to protect yourselves from possible waves of that civil war.
He nods and says, Nazaram doesn't just protect ourselves, we protect the world from the Archblight. It's noble work, mind you. But nonetheless, welcome to Okitoa Tier. What brings you into the embassy today?
There it is.
Yeah.
We're actually here looking for a few recruits. We were told they might have some information for us.
Perhaps you know them.
He is going to say, well, I work hand in hand with our Claw ambassador, so I know a lot of the faces that come through here. Who are they?
Ella Noth and Kuiper Noth.
Ah, the Noth brothers. Yes, inseparable those two are. Yeah, they're worth a whole battalion on their own. And he's gonna say, actually, I think you're in luck today. They're upstairs filling out a report from their recent. They're upstairs filling out a report from their recent expedition. I believe they're expecting visitors, they informed me, but that was days ago. Alright, I'll lead you up there. Gestures for you to follow.
I'll follow him up.
He's going to lead you to a lavish office on the 4th floor of this tower. It overlooks the southern sea, and while all of the windows and shutters of this tower are open, the walls themselves are decorated with the strangest obsidian oddities that you've ever seen. Broken shields and emblems are broken shields like emblems crafted completely out of it. Ogun's familiar with the stone because Ogun lived on a volcano and he carries around like an obsidian staff, or obsidian hunk in the staff. But all of this looks like stuff looted or brought from towns like within Red Axe that may or may not have been like covered in magma or exposed, to the volcano. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Are there any? Does anything look like something from, with like style or markings of something he would be familiar with, like different tribes or anything like that?
Oaken's actually going to see a staff similar to his on the wall of the wood, and then it's all spiraled around an obsidian piece in the center of it. Marking it as part of your tribe, probably not, but probably like super regional or one of the shamans that taught you how to craft yours. Could have definitely been at play. The two men in this room are both one is furiously scribbling at a table, and another one is standing over it, and he's pointing down and saying, "Yeah, and don't forget the part where we took our skimmers and we chased the pirates to the cove, and yeah, in the four that we took down in the cove. That needs to go." And the man is putting up his hand and says, I was there, I remember each and every one of them." The scribe knocks on the door. The two half-orcs look up from the table, or look up from the desk at Trunkalin and the party in their doorway. The office is a large affair, although there are not many places to sit. They stand and say, "Oh, Captain Trunkalin." They each salute. He nods and says, "Those visitors you told me about several days ago, they've arrived, albeit late. Brought them up here at your request. They're going to each nod and say, thank you so much." He nods and says, "Continue to serve Nazram. And your thanks are not even needed." He nods at the party and begins to walk out. They each smile as he leaves. As he leaves, their smile turns into something, albeit a little bit more sinister. He closes the door behind him, and the half-orc that was riding is going to be the first one to speak up and say, "Alanath, at your service, and Kuipernoth, also at your service. We heard that you were trying to find something inside the Tide Gate that's particularly difficult to find. Well, my brother and I are the best scouts that Nazram has. We can go island to island in days' time, searching it, getting information, reconnaissance, all the such."
That's good to know. Do you have any idea already of what we're looking for?
"Word is a temple," Alanath replies. Kuipers cuts in and says, "One shrouded by magic?"
Sounds about right.
Alla looks at Kuiper and says, "I heard some clerics powerful enough can hide entire temples and sequester demi-planes right out of the sight of the Looking Mass." As Kuiper gets a little giddy at this and says, "Oh, this is gonna be fun."
That is about right for what we're looking for. Let's see, where's my notes on what else we can tell you about this place?
It'll probably have at least one giant crystal in it.
Probably more than that.
Brandon, how much detail do I remember seeing from the Mirror of the Past when I used it on Elena? And we saw her in the temple.
You remember everything you can possibly remember. And just to repeat the description of you saw the inside of it. You saw it was a temple devoted to the Spoken Wills, which is the other sect of the Wills. There's a temple here devoted to the Given Wills. You saw that huge antechamber where the Earthfire was being held. And yeah, that was about it.
particular temple we're looking for is for the spoken ones. Has an antechamber big enough to house a crystal probably about half the size of this building.
And Alla is going to say, yes, and what motivates you? Why?
If I were to say world peace, would you believe?
Kuiper is going to shake his head and says, I can almost see the hate in your eyes.
The person who took the crystal that's in that building killed off a bunch of my friends and left dead. I'd be lying if I said this wasn't partly for revenge.
They're each going to look at each other, grinning, and say, huh. And I suppose the woman who pointed you in our direction told you how this works.
Not fully, so why don't we hammer out the details then?
They're going to say, we can find it, but we don't work for free. We need to get stronger. You have to pay us. Something important. Something that only you can give. The Kuiper is going to say, you see, we're particularly fond of bloodshed.
Are you saying you're trying to drink our blood?
Alla is going to say, no. Just something tied to the emotions of wrath and anger and vengeance. Perhaps your sword. He looks at Soulmane. He looks at Ogun and says, perhaps your staff? Alla looks at Teak, unreadable behind her mask. Says, surely, Paladin, you've swung your... Teak has a mace or a Morning Star? I think it's a Morning Star.
Currently a Morning Star.
Yeah, since surely you've swung your Morning Star at one not deserving of justice, but deserving your vengeance.
Oh, plenty of times. But I apologized for it later.
Soulmane's gonna pull out the dagger he got from that Kieran.
Ooh. Kuiper's going to step forward, wrapping it in his hand, and says, I can feel the hate on this, brother. Alla begins to nod. The dagger crystallizes into obsidian instantly. He walks over to the wooden wall and plants the dagger in the wall and says, alright, we'll find this temple for you.
Much appreciated. How can we get in contact with you once you find it?
They are going to speak up together and say, we'll send word to you. A messenger, a letter, something will find its way to you. Those who contacted us have ways of contacting you. Teak, roll me a free religion check. The free Eronies.
Hey.
12. Okay. So...
It's just proficiency with the +0. I don't know what you want from me.
Hey, not a lot. On that 12, you are going to have a thought. Fiends in Ilderon are often tied to emotions or concepts, singular things that define them, like gluttony, wrath, lust, etc. You, like, as they pine over this hate-filled dagger that, Soulmane gave them, you start thinking about just, like, some of your instinctual, like, well, I guess some of the training you were given as a paladin, some of the natural instincts that come to you originally, and your innate senses are definitely, I guess your paladin senses are definitely tingling at interaction with these theories. And they are going to register as fiends, both of them, to you.
Teek's hand is going to instinctually go towards her Morning Star before pausing.
Ma'am? Yes, sir. Something the matter.
Not all is as it seems.
No.
I'm just saying, there's not many that will tout the virtues of vengeance and hatred.
So Brandon, I've got, does my passive investigation of 25 pick up anything?
I mean, I feel like they've been a little bit creepy in conversation. I mean, I will give that to Tobias for free. Of just like, I mean, I've talked to some pretty uncomfortable and unsavory dudes. These guys fit the bill. Yeah, Teak, everything's not as it seems. What's wrong?
Can I get that religion? Can I get a religion check then?
Right. On a religion check, I will give it to you for free if you can tell me how Tobias is arriving at that thought. I have an idea, but I don't want to be in charge of your character. I can make a suggestion if you want.
The paladin, the divinely inspired champion, feels like something is.
You are entitled to the same religion check.
Okay.
Ooh, I got a message. That's 3 28s tonight on 3 religion checks! That's 3 28s on 3 religion checks! Okay, you're going to know, in Ilderon, how fiends are formed is when concepts become sentient. So, like, when concepts, like, accidentally become sentient. And they're kind of like, I guess, glitches in, the planar reality of, like, when knowledge takes on a persona and then it lusts to consume all knowledge around it and just grow more powerful by consuming knowledge. When hate takes on intelligence and sentience and it just wants to absorb more hate. And all fiends in Ilderon are formed like that. Most of them are locked away from Ilderon in a place called the Bridge. But there have been historical moments of them slipping through the binds. Demons and fiends demons and devils get more powerful the more of their concept that they absorb. So if these guys are filled by hate and vengeance, looking at all of these weapons on the wall, it probably looks like they've had a lot of time to feed here, if they are demons.
Okay.
But yeah, if something's setting Teak off, it's probably that, like, oof, if these are demons, and if, these are the emotions they're drawn to, being soldiers in a worldwide, army gives them a lot of opportunity to, go out and do the killy kill. Which then can also lead you to have a little bit of insight about the people who gave you their names as far as, like, how these guys can help you.
Okay. I would like to cast True Seeing.
True Scene? Okay. It does have a verbal component, I believe.
Verbal somatic material, yes.
Yeah, neither of these guys are going to stop you. Let me look in my monster manual so I can just... Do you have a monster manual, Wesley? Because you DM, right?
I do, yes.
Okay. They are not Baelors.
That's good to know.
Because that would be terrifying. Are they in Mordenkainen's? I definitely remember when
So I have all of the books except for Avernus. What
Okay.
were you looking for?
I remember the monster when I see them. Because I picked this monster and then edited it. I honestly don't remember the name of it, but I was just going to give you a physical description of what you see when you look at them.
Is it one with the crabby claws?
No, they've got wings and they've got a tail and they've got horns. Here we go. They are not each this thing, but if you have Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, I can actually share this with everybody of what you see. Hut. Because I have Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. Alright.
What's the name? And I can just look it up on...
Yeah, it's a Hutchin, and we can drag that here and show to players. That is what you see standing before you. You see a demonic figure, or a devilish figure. I'm going to go with demonic. Figure with horns and wings and a spiked tail moving behind him. Magically, you can see that their appearance has been altered as they are shape changers. And his muscles and body has been constrained to his form. And as you cast the spell, Alla is going to look over and say, "Oh, they know. Kuiper is going to put up a hand and say, "But here's the thing: will they tell? Or will they force us to kill them right here? No, they're wise. They know they need us. Let's see." They both look at Tobias, who is, I guess, looking at two demons. And the rest of the party, I guess, looks at Tobias. What does Tobias say or do?
So, are you saying these two are these creatures, or that they look?
No, yeah, they look like these creatures. These two are not two challenge rating 21 creatures.
Okay. This changes things. You said. Are they abyssal or infernal?
They are demons. They are demons.
Okay. He's going to
abyssal. I'm sorry, I had to think about that for a second.
Yeah. This is a good question, but I've got to decide. He's going to clutch his staff and kind of put it in front of him and say in abyssal, Well, no, I'm sorry. I'm breaking this with that. He's actually going to look at Teak, and he's going to try and cast Message, which is a cantrip, I believe.
Okay, what do you say? We're going by the second by second clock. What's everybody else doing? You guys.
Never mind. He's just going to say in common demons. He's going to say demons. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, and they're waiting to see what you're going to do with this information. It almost looks like they're one looks ready to pounce. The other one almost seems kind of excited at this standoff. What's the party do with this information? Your paladin and wizard have gotten really uncomfortable.
I'm gonna put my homunculus to flight, just hovering over the party.
Teak, what's going on?
I don't know. Shall we drop this charade? I think we should drop the charade. So we're talking to demons.
Huh.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes.
Well, I mean, some would call people where Tobias comes from demons as well. So, I mean, so what?
No.
Okay, sure, but like these are literal demons, you know, not necessarily the kind of figurative ones that you would blame for the fall of a civilization. These are the sorts that actually actively conspire to end all of mortality as it exists, and then eat their souls.
One is Alla is gonna say, "Oh, they're thinking about it. They're thinking about fighting. Oh, I can just taste their blood."
Also, they're demons of wrath, so they're really good at fighting. We probably shouldn't fight them.
Teak?
I'm going to cast Mage Armor on myself. Hold on. I mean, so he's an abjuration wizard, and so that's going to activate his ward. And
Your ward's already activated if you had a long rest recently.
Well, it only triggers once I cast an abjuration spell.
Oh, does it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how wizard works this edition.
Yep. So everybody within 30 feet is going to be included in this ward, and that's going to be, let's see. So the ward has 31 HP. So the first 33 points of damage taken by the party is going to go straight to the ward.
Guys, before this gets out of hand,
I don't think that's how that feature works.
Yeah, it's projection ward. When a creature within 30 feet
I'll read it.
takes damage.
I'll read it after this session because we probably won't get to combat this session.
Oh, okay.
But I'll double check it.
I actually have to dip out soon.
Okay, we're about to be done in the next 5 minutes. Kuiper is going to I'm sorry. Fractus was about to say something, and then
guys, our mandate is whatever it takes. Gracefully accept their help and walk away.
Teak, behind her mask, narrows her eyes and says,
Yeah, we do need every bit of help that we can get. But, and you'll find this interesting, we'll be back for you after this is all over.
Kuiper is going to wave his hand and say, "Oh, no. Hate working with demons. That feeling's festering right now. Why don't we have a competition for the information? You can't stand my brother and I. How about a battle against one of you to the death? In any case, we know where to start looking. We'll be willing to share that information with you. and the bloodshed from killing one of you, and sate us for another couple days before we get on our next expedition.
Fractus is gonna look and go, are you trying to do a wager?
Teak almost growls and says,
How about this wager? How about we leave and you get nothing? Oh, except we want our dagger back, so however you're going to pay for that.
The dagger that's already covered in obsidian and lodged in the wall, they look at it, one. And Al is going to scratch his head and say, I don't really know how to undo that.
I can figure it out.
Now,
Kuiper's going to speak up and say,
so don't change the deal. We'll be back you will contact us with this information. And then later we can play your games.
They look at each other, a large grin on their face, and says, they're gonna come back! And Alla's gonna say, we'll find that temple. We know exactly where to start looking.
Oh, good. Killing demons is fun. I'll see you around.
Should be a good time.
Alright. As you walk out of the office, Elson is pale. Is horrifically pale, and we will pick up there next session.
Fractus is going to turn to Elson and say, welcome to the unrepentant, Elson.
Alright.
And then he's going to turn to Soulmate and go, now we got 2 more demons to put behind the first one. Mm-hmm. God damn this.
Which one are we going for first?
Teak size. Guys, I'm supposed to...
we're gonna...
Your business. How many retired paladins do you really know?
Look, maybe I can be the first, okay?
Which
yeah.
Seppuku is not an actual retirement.
Mm-hmm. We are going to end there. I'm gonna divvy out.
How dare you call me out like that?
I'm gonna divvy out experience and then schedule your guys' next session, then let everybody go for tonight.
Cool.
Major experience tonight. You talk to the contacts that Breath gave you. They are not good people. Breath is probably not a good person.
We kind of figured that.
I'm going to give you guys major experience for that. Did anything else happen tonight? Oh, you sent Gale Song Ascending. I'm going to give you minor experience for that.
I was going to say we more like call Gale Song out on the ship, but we can.
I'll give you major experience for that, counting it together with scheduling to meet with Keeper Ration. And I think that was it for tonight. So I'm going to do 3,000 experience for tonight. And then I would like to play a half session next week, but then some people said they weren't going to be able to make it. Do you guys want to reschedule to that Sunday, or cancel next week, or move it to the 4th?
I've got no plans, so just let me know. And
Sunday
is
that?
I can do Sunday.
Sunday's actually bad for me.
Okay. How does everybody feel about moving it to the 4th of November?
I'll catch you guys later.
Okay, enjoy your night. Or if you guys are comfortable with it, we can just cancel next session because you guys are... I guess, like, day-wise, you're not ahead of the other groups, but story-wise, you are kind of a little bit.
Well, I'm hoping that here soon I'll have another full-time job prospect, and thankfully the place that I'm working at closes at 8:30, so the latest that instead of 11 o'clock at night. So even if I'm working that day, I might just be a little late.
Okay.
So, but I'm in the very beginning parts of possibly getting an interview for that. So, but
okay. So I think what I'll do then is I'm going to leave it on the table for a week. The two options are canceling or playing on the... Wait, I don't think I can play on the 4th either. I can't play on the 4th.
Can we do, like, next Tuesday, maybe?
I'm probably going to be out. Well, next Tuesday I'll be around, but
yeah.
Like the 29th, I'm probably still going to be out of town.
Okay. So I'm actually gonna cancel next session, and I will see what I can do about doing a makeup session. Ideally, the 11th, I could give you guys like a double session if we can put it in our schedules to like play a little late that day. And I can message everybody as to why I'm not gonna be able to make that session. But yeah, I guess at some point I have to put down the executive ruling. I'm so sorry, but. Yeah, that's what's rolling tonight. 3,000 experience, and next session is probably canceled.
How close are we to level 15, by the way?
I don't know. I can do the math on there at the end.